Hello everyone, this is Madhavi Karmudi, Assistant Professor from CSE Department. In this lecture, I will concentrate on XML schema. What is the XML schema? Why we need to write XML schema? How to write the XML schema? And what are the differences between XML schema and DTDs? First, see what is a XML schema. So the main intention of writing this XML schema document is for checking or for validating whether your XML document is a valid XML document or not. We need to write or we need to validate our XML document with XML schema. So here this XML schema completely describes about the basic building blocks of the XML document. Means how the elements are specified in the XML document and how they have written the attributes of the XML document. How many number of child elements are there and in which order the child elements are specified in the XML document. What are the data types for the elements and attributes, and what are the default values or fixed values for the elements and attributes. All this information we can clearly specify it by using XML schema. Now this XML schema language is completely written using XML language. This is one of the alternative to DTD, completely written using XML language. And this XML schema language is also called as XML schema definition. Now let's see how to write the XML schema for the XML document. So first of all, in any XML schema definition or in XML schema document, there should be one root element. Here in XML schema document, the root element is a schema element. And your XML schema definition is also written using Java XML language. So that is the reason why that XML schema document also starts with the XML version statement or declaration statement, then followed by XML schema tag. So this XML schema tag specifies that from where it is, whatever namespaces or whatever data types that you are using in the XML schema definition, that comes from which namespace, that will be specified by using this schema tag. So here, this is the one of the way to write the XML schema schema tag, and like this also we can specify the XML schema document. If you see here, we can see one important attribute of a schema element, that is XML ns:_access. So the meaning of the statement is XML namespace access XML schema. That means whatever namespaces that are used in this XML schema definition, all those namespaces coming from this XML schema definition or coming from this namespace. That is the meaning of that attribute. Now this XML schema elements can be defined in the following way. So in every XML document contains simple elements as well as complex elements. So in the case of simple element, how we will declare simple element using XML schema definition is, every element will be specified under in XML schema. Every element starts with XS qualifier. So XS means XML schema, and XS : element name, that is name of the element, for which element you are writing the XML schema definition, that element name, and name of the element, element name equal to name of the element, type equal to the content of that particular element type. Suppose if that element is taking integer element, the type element specifies the integer. If your element is taking Boolean type value, then here the type element should be XS Boolean. Like that we need to specify. This is the way to specify the simple element in XML schema. And next one is, while specifying this type element, we have some predefined data types in XML schema, but this is not there in DTDs. This is one of the advantage of XML schema over DTD. So in XML DTD, completely the element content type will be specified either PC data or C data. But we cannot, we don't have any provision to specify exact type of data what you are storing in the XML elements. But here in XML schema, we can specify what kind of data you are going to store in the XML element by using these predefined data types. So everything in XML schema proceeds with the qualifier called as XS. XS colon integer, XS colon boolean, XS colon string. Suppose if the element is accepting date types, then that should be specified with XS date. These are the predefined data types available in the XML schema. Now coming to specification, how to write the XML complex element. So here, if it is a simple element, directly in the element definition itself, we can say that element name, what is the element name and what is the type of the element. Suppose if it is a complex element means that element contains many child elements in it. Okay, so how to specify the complex element in XML schema is XS element name equal to name of the element. So here name of the complex element or name of the root element, and this element is of type complex type. Okay, XS complex type, and inside this complex type we need to specify the child elements of the element tag or child elements of this complex element tag. So here if your complex element tag contains 4 child elements or 3 child elements, those 3 child elements again we have to define it inside the sequence tag by using normal XML element tag. Okay, so here this XS sequence indicates that this is a indicator. So this XS sequence indicator specifies that in which order we need to write the child elements in the XML document. Suppose here I am writing child elements as name, company, phone number. So in this order, in the same order, we need to write, we need to define those elements in the XML document. So this is the way to specify the complex element. And here this XML schema completely follows the syntax of the XML language. That is the reason why. So whenever all the elements are properly nested. See here I am starting the XS element and immediately after that I am closing that element. Okay, here XS element. This XS element is an empty element. That is the reason why in the same element itself I am closing it by using /. XS element I am closing here itself, and XS sequence here I have opened and here I am closing. XS complex type I am opening here and it is closing here, and finally we are closing the XS element. So this is the way to specify the XML complex elements in XML schema. Now see how to specify the attributes in XML schema. So every XML element contains or may have and may not have the attributes. Suppose if any of the XML element having attributes, then how to define that attribute in the XML schema is, so here we have XS attribute tag. XS attribute name equal to name of the attribute, type equal to content type of the attribute. So in this manner we will specify the attribute of that particular element. Now see the XML schema indicators. This is one of the important feature in the XML language. So this is one of the advantage of XML schema language than DTDs. Why? Because in XML DTDs there is no indicators for specifying how many number of times a particular element should repeat in the XML document. So to specify that there is no indicators. But overall we can specify it by using qualifiers. But exactly how many number of times you want to repeat that particular element, that we may not specify it by using indicators in XML DTD. So to overcome the drawback in DTD, in XML schema, W3C people included 7 indicators for specifying the order and how many number of times that particular element should repeat in the schema or in the XML document, and how to group those XML elements or XML attributes in the XML document. So like that they have given some 7 indicators. So these 7 indicators, first see the 3 indicators. These 3 indicators we are calling it as a order indicators. Okay, so these order indicators indicates that in which manner we need to write the elements, child elements in the XML document. Okay, suppose here if you specify XS all indicator, that indicates that all the child elements of the element should appear in the XML document in any order. There is no specific order, but all the whatever child elements you have specified in the XML schema document, all the child elements definitions you need to write in the XML document. So suppose in your XML schema definition, you have written 3 child elements for employee tag. Okay, so compulsorily those 3 elements we need to define it in XML document. But the order may be anything. You can specify those 3 child elements in any order. So that is the meaning of this all indicator. Now choice indicator specifies that suppose in your XML document, in your XML schema definition, you have written 3 child elements for employee document. Okay, but in my XML document, I don't want to define all 3 elements, all 3 child elements. I need only 1 child element or 2 child elements. So we can define it. So once you specify the indicator is of type choice, in that case, no need to define all the child elements of the schema document in the XML document. How many number of child elements you want, you can specify only those in your XML document. Now third indicator is sequence indicator. So the sequence indicator specifies that in which order your child elements should appear in the XML document. So that is the meaning of this sequence indicator. Just now in the previous slide, we have seen one example that uses sequence indicator. So in the case of specifying complex type attribute, defining complex element, we need to use these 3 indicators, either all indicator or choice indicator or sequence indicator, right? This is about order indicators. Now coming to the occurrence indicators. So this occurrence indicator specifies that how many number of times that particular element may repeat in your XML document. Okay, same thing we can also specify in XML DTD, but there we have qualifiers like question mark, plus sign and asterisk sign. Suppose if it is a plus, that indicates that 1 or more times it can appear. Suppose if it is a star, it indicates that 0 or more times it will repeat. Suppose if you want to specify like this element, so and so element should appear 2 times in your XML document. So in that case, in DTD, there is no correct way to define it. So that problem can be eliminated in XML schema by using occurrence indicators. So in these occurrence indicators, max occurs specifies that maximum how many number of times your element should repeat in the XML document. Suppose for my, just assume that I have one book element. In that book element, I have some child elements like title, author, price, and okay, author, title and price. Sometimes for some books, there will be multiple authors, right? So in that case, you can specify the author tag as max occurs. Max occurs equal to 3. That means 3 author tags may have, maximum 3 author tags should be allowed in that particular book element. Like that, we can specify maximum how many number of times that particular tag should repeat in the XML document. Similarly, next one is min occurs. This min occurs indicates the minimum how many number of times that particular element should repeat in the XML document. So exact number we can specify it. So minimum number means by default it will start with 0. Max occurs default value is infinity. You can write infinity also as a max indicator. Okay, and third category is group indicators. So these group indicators are used for grouping the XML elements in the document. Suppose if you want to group the XML elements by using the element names, then we use group name indicator. Suppose if you want to group the attributes by name, like person, all person attributes comes at one place, all employee attributes, book attributes come at one place. Like that, if you want to separate the separate the elements, then we can use this attribute group name indicators. These are the most important indicators available in the XML schema language. Now see one sample example how to write the XML schema for employee document. First I'll explain how to write the XML file using schema. Then I'll show the how to write the schema for that. First, this is my XML document. This is my XML document. So if it is an XML document, we should save with .xml extension. If it is an XML document, always starts with the declaration statement. And here, in my XML document, I have one employee element. That employee element is the root element. So here, employee XML-NS. This XML-NS indicates that whatever data, names I am using in my XML document, all those names comes from this namespace. And XML-NS XSI, this indicates that whatever, here in XML schema, we'll write the schema definition in one document. That document, we are calling it as a XML schema definition document. So which document follows the XSD rules, that document we are calling it as a XML instance document or XML schema instance document. So here, this is my XML document. This document follows some of the rules given in the XSD file. In next slide, I'll show the XSD file. So this XML document is the instance of that XSD file, because this XML file follows the rules specified in that XSD file. So this is called it as XSD XML schema definition or schema instance. Okay. So here, all the names that are used in this XML schema instance are coming from this namespace. And here, XML schema location. XML schema location, this attribute is used for including XML schema definition to your XML document. So how can we link up our external DTD to your XML document? By using doc type tag. In this XML schema, by using XSI schema location attribute, we will attach the XML schema definition file to your XML document like this. Okay. So here the XSD file XML schema definition for this XML document is available in employee.xsd file that I will show in the next slide. Okay. So here first name definition, second name, last name element and email element, and I am closing the employee tag. This is my normal XML document. Now see the XML schema definition for this document. So always this XML schema definition we need to write separately from the XML document so that it will be very easy to understand and we can easily reuse the XSD if required in other file also. Okay, if you write XML schema definition separately from the XML document, that should be saved with .xsd extension. XSD means XML schema definition. So this XML schema language also written by using XML language. That is the reason why it is also starts with the XML declaration statement. And now XML schema, the first element and the root element is XML schema element. Just now I told you in any XML document, the first tag should be XS schema document. So this XS schema document, XS schema element specifies the namespace. So where the namespace of this XML schema is available. So W3C, w3.org/2001/XML schema. In this namespace, all the data types and all the indicators, whatever you are using in this XML schema definition, all those are belongs to this namespace. So this is just like a, we can say that this is just like a packages in Java language. Suppose if you are using any buffer reader method or any IO related methods, we need to import IO package, right? Similarly, here also, if you are writing any XML schema definition, definitely we'll use some XML schema data types. and we'll use some occurrence indicators, and we'll write definition for simple element as well as complex elements. So all these definitions for complex type, access sequence indicator, and these data types are available in this XML schema document. That is the meaning of that XML schema element. Now we need to specify the root element. Definition for root element. This is the access element, name equal to name of the element. Name of the root element is employee. And this employee is not a simple element. It is a composite element, or it is a complex element. So how to specify the complex element? For specifying complex element, we have access complex type tag. So inside this access complex type tag, we can specify the order of the child elements by using any order indicator like access colon all, or access colon choice, or access colon sequence. So depending upon your requirement, you have to specify the order indicator here. Okay. So here I am specifying access sequence. So what is the meaning of this access sequence indicator is, so in which sequence I am defining the child elements. In the same way, you have to provide the definitions in the XML document also. You should not change the order of this XML order of this child elements in the XML document. That is the meaning of this access sequence. Okay. So in access sequence, the first child element is first name element, and this first name element is of type, the content of first name element is of type string type, and last name element is of type string type, and email address is also of type string. Suppose if there is a number like salary, if there is another element like salary, so definitely that salary is of type some number. So for specifying that number, we have access integer type. But these kind of data type specifications are not there in DTD. So this is also one of the advantage of XML schema. So once all the child elements definitions are over, then close all the tags. So first close the sequence tag, then close complex type tag, then close element tag, then finally close the schema tag. And save this file with .xsd extension. And to follow these rules in the XML document, you just include this XSD document by using XML schema location attribute of employee.xsd. So this is the example XML schema. Now finally, see the advantages of XML schema over DTD. In the last session, we have discussed about DTD. There are some limitations of for DTD. So to overcome those limitations, W3C people has developed the XML schema definition. Let us see what are the advantages of XML schema over DTDs. The first advantage is this XML schema uses basic XML syntax. But if you see DTD is not written using XML. It is a strange language. So XML schema supports namespaces concept. Okay, but there DTD doesn't have any namespaces. And XML schema allows the validation of text elements based on data types. So here in XML schema, we can clearly specify that what kind of content you are storing in the element by using predefined data types available in schema language, like access integer, access string, access boolean, access character, like that. But that kind of representation is not there in DTD. In DTD, we have only two categories of data types. One is PC data and another one is C data. That is one of the advantage of schema over DTD. Now last advantage is XML schema can have support for indicators. But there in DTD, we can't specify how many number of times that particular element can repeat the XML document exactly. But here that we can specify it clearly by using occurrence indicators or by using order indicators. But that kind of facility is not there in the DTDs. So these are the main advantages of XML schema. But complexity wise, if you can see, compared to, suppose if your XML document is having a lot of elements, then it will be very easy to understand. DTD is very easy to understand than XML schema. But the main advantage is here the XML language, XML schema is also written using XML language. That is a major advantage. And here everything we can apply all the facets on the elements. So whatever restriction you want to put on the elements, you can place it. But there we cannot place the restrictions on the elements. So these are the few advantages of the XML schema. So in this session, we have discussed about what is the XML schema, how to specify the XML schema for simple elements as well as complex elements, and how to specify the indicators. And one example program we have seen. Finally, we have seen the advantages of XML schema over DTDs. So this is all about XML schemas. So thank you.